Be'ez Hashem Siman Pei and haGuela. V'gam bishvil she'oitris hamammon v'yakavod b'yad Rashayim. So this is going to be about money. This is about the power of the Zionists through money. Ein Zion, he spoke about the fear in general that rich people have influence on the rabbis, not because of money specifically. And Ein Tes, he spoke about the newspapers, and now he's going to speak about the money in general, that they have the power of the purse. They can withhold money from whoever they don't like.
You mean like AIPAC?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about AIPAC with senators, but I'm talking about the power with rabbis, with Gedolim. Because most of the money, the storehouses of money, and the ability to honor people is in the hands of these Zionists, Moishli Atzionim, the leaders of the Zionists.
He's referring to?
No, he's referring to wealth. You know, the WZO has a lot of money, and that was part of the whole tumult that happened. That why did Eretz HaKodesh? Why did the people want to make a Haredi party in the WZO? Because they wanted the money. That's not the why that they started it, but the way that they convinced people to go and vote for it is because they said, look, there's billions of dollars here to be handed out. And that article, it's a very good article in just this most recent issue of Dialogue by Rav Aaron Feldman, and he speaks about the whole history of it, how they started this Eretz HaKodesh thing. But in any case, so there's money, right? The Jewish federations have money. The money is channeled to the Zionists. The Zionists have money. Ve'amachzikim biyadam, and those who support Zionists are the ones who have a lot of money. Edelson, people like that, right? Ve'hamanhigim ve'ruba di'alma tzrichim lahem. The leaders, the rabbis, need their money. So therefore, it's not a surprise that they are bribed by this, that this influences them to go with their opinions. The great trial in this subject, and the stumbling block that happens when people have to come on to their money and use their money is mevur b'direi Chazal b'mekoymos ein mispar. It's stated all over the place in Chazal that money of Rishayim affects your judgment and it leads you astray. V'yevur mitoich drusheinu de lahalan. I'm going to explain it with the following drush. V'naktim ha de'isa b'yalkut soif parshas Vayechi al pasuk vayinachim oisam vayidaber al libam. That Yosef HaTzadik, when after Yaakov Avinu died, the brothers came to him and they said, "We're so sorry for what we did. Please forgive us." And it says, "Vayinachim oisam." He comforted them and he spoke to their hearts. V'haloi dvarim kal v'chomer. So the Medrash says, "Kal v'chomer ma Yosef shahayim medaber al libam shel echav dvarim toivim dvarim nichumim nichmam." That when Yosef spoke to his brothers, he spoke good words and he spoke words of comfort. So, in the future, when Mashiach comes and Kodesh Baruch Hu comes to comfort Yerushalayim, Kedechsiv Dabru Alev Yerushalayim. The same lashon is there, right? Just like Yosef says, Vayidaber al libam. So they, so Hakadosh Baruch Hu, it says Dabru Alev Yerushalayim. Speak on the heart of Yerushalayim. Al achas kama v'kama. So kol shekain that he'll speak words of comfort. Have a nachmu ami, and that's what it means. Comfort my people. Comfort my people. Uksiv ki nicham Hashem tzion. Hashem has comforted Zion. Nicham kol charvoisel. He comforted all their ruins. Vayasem midbar ha'ke'eden. He made its wilderness like a Gan Eden. What's the connection between these two types of comforts? Yosef HaTzadik comforting his brothers, and Hashem comforting us in the future. Of course, the comfort that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us in the future will be much greater. There'll be much more than the comfort of a human being. Why are we comparing it to the comfort of Yosef and his brothers? They're not even in the same ballpark. Why are you comparing them? The second question is, there's a problem in the psukim itself, in Yosef. Why? What was Yosef saying? Don't worry, I'm gonna comfort, I'm gonna support you with food, you and your children. What was the chiddush that Yosef's going to support them? Is it really possible that the Shvatim were afraid that they wouldn't have parnasa? And Yosef had to come and comfort them and say Shehu Yechalka Loisam v'yastapim, that he's going to go and support them. That this emunah, that Hashem has the ability to give parnasa to everybody, from the smallest creation to the biggest creation, is matzuya gam etzel anashim pshutim. Even simple Jews have this emunah. People who are much lower in their level of Yiddishkeit and spirituality than the Shvatim. So if of course the Shvatim would know that they're going to get parnasa. What were they afraid of? Of course they didn't have this fear, this worry that what are we going to eat. Chazal say that anybody who thinks, what am I going to eat tomorrow, he's lacking in his emunah. So why did Yosef say to his brothers, I'm going to support you? Of course he's going to support them. Of course someone's going to support them, right? They don't have to be afraid. Third question is, why did Yosef say, like in an arrogant way, I will support you? He should have said, Hashem Yisbarach will do it. Hashem Yisbarach yichalkel eschem v'yistapchem. Umadua lakach ho'atar li'atzmoi. Why did Yosef take the crown for himself? V'amroi anoichi yichalkel eschem. Ubaru shekavanas ho'amira shehu yisbarach hu yiyeh hashliach l'chalkolom. Of course, Yosef didn't mean he'll do it on his own. He meant that he'll be Hashem's agent to do it. Ve'etzem makor parnasasim yiyeh mi'Hashem yisbarach. And the real source of their parnasa will come from Hashem. Then what's the point of telling them that? Why do they care if he's the shliach or not? Why would they care if their parnasa comes through him or through someone else? You hear what he's getting at? Because this is a remiss to what he's going to say, right? He's saying it matters if your parnasa comes from the Rishaim or from the Tzaddikim. If your parnasa comes from the Rishaim, then you're going to be influenced by them. So he's saying, in the question, he's saying, "What my nafkamina lohem? What does it matter to the brothers if their parnasa will come through Yosef or someone else?" There's no simple pshat in this pasuk. So, just to review, what are the three questions? First question is, what's the comparison between Yosef's comfort and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Nachmu Ami? Second one is that why did the Shvatim worry that they wouldn't have parnasa? Weren't they on a madrega to have a munah like a pashta yid? And the third is when Yosef replied and said, don't worry, I will be mechalkal eschem. Why did he say, I will do it? Why didn't he say Hashem Yisbarach will do it? And if he meant he's the shliach, then what does it matter that he's the shliach? Okay, v'nachtim divrei medrash rab parshas vayetze al pasuk vayetze Yaakov mi Beershava. It says Yaakov left Beershava. Reb Shimon ben Nachman Pasach Shir la malois esai nai laharim. It says in the pasuk in Tehillim, Shir la malois, I will lift my eyes up to the mountains. Esa enai ela hoirim. He teaches harim like hoirim, like parents, like the avos. Me'ayin yavo Ezri. From where will my help come? Eliezer, b'shah shahalach lahavies Rivka. When Eliezer went to bring Rivka to back for as a kala for Yitzchak, Maksiv, what does it say? V'chol tu v'adoinav b'yadoi. He went with all the wealth of his master Avraham Avinu in his hands. Ani, but Yaakov Avinu said, Ani ein b'yadi loy nezem echad v'loy tzamid echad. I don't have one single ring or bracelet. Chazar v'yomar, and then Yaakov said, first, this is what Yaakov said first, right? He said, I don't have anything with me, and I'm going to get myself kala from Lavan's daughters. I don't have anything. But then Chazar v'yomar, then he went back and said, no, ma ana moivid sivri min baryi. What am I losing my hope in Hashem, basically? Chas v'shalom leis ana moivid sivri min baryi. I'm not taking away my hope from Hashem. Ezri mi Hashem oiseh shemayim v'aretz. My hope is from Hashem. My help is from Hashem, who created heaven and earth. Hashem yishmarcha mikol ra. The end of the capital says Hashem will protect you from all evil. What's that mean? Me Esav umi Lavan. Yishmor es nafshecha. He'll protect your soul. Mi malach hamavis. Ad kan divrei medrash. V'amedrash hazeh kasha laholmai. The problem with this medrash is v'hayitachin shehaya Yaakov Avinu b'chir ha'avos mistapik chalila b'tchoinoi. Is it possible that Yaakov Avinu had a suffix, had a doubt about his own trust in Hashem? Hashem yisborach ad shechazar v'yomar leis ano amoivid sivri min bari. And then he said, no, I'm not going to lose my trust. V'chiyala al da shemitchil v'chashav kain. Is it possible that he had such a suffix at first? Chas v'shalom le'mar kain. You can't say that. Gam yesh lahavin hayitachin sheYaakov Avinu chamad dvarim hachamudos. Is it possible that Yaakov was interested in physical stuff? Nezim v'tzami, a ring and a bracelet. Ad she'amar alav leisa no amoivid sivri min bari. And he said, no, I'm not going to lose my trust for Hashem. Is there? Why did he care about the jewelry? Is it possible that was the only thing he relied on Hashem for? Is the jewelry? Gam tzarich bir hakishor. Also, what's the connection to the other psukim? Hashem yishmorcha me'esav milavan, yishmor es nafshecha, he'll guard your soul, malach hamavis. Eze kishor yesh l'drash zu l'nezim v'tzamid shehischil bo. What connection does this have to the beginning of the medrash that talks about the rings? Omnam yisbar al pi ma shekasa b'sefer kodesh agar dekala parasha shoftim. The answer is, this is explained by the Agar Dekala, the Bnei Yissaschar, in his Sefer Agar Dekala, Parsha Shoftim. Kabbalah me Rabbi Seinu. We have a tradition from our rebbeim going back. The koyach hapoyel benifal, that the power of the giver is in the receiver. So mimela mamoinoi urechushay shel adam. A person's money, a person's property, that a person, it says, a person gets this money through his maisav. So even if he works and he gets money, it sounds like even if he works and he gets the money has the influence of the one who pays the money, the boss. That money contains the power of the giver of the money. That's why the Gemara said it's not allowed to take change from the box of the tax collector. So in other words, let's say you're walking down the street and you have a $100 bill and you need to change it and get smaller denominations, and you see someone who has a tax collecting box, and he's box full of money that he collected from taxes. In those days, the tax collectors were corrupt. They were stealing money from people. So if you put your money into this ganav's box and take change from it, even that's going to influence you. Even though the money didn't really come from him, it's really your money that you're just exchanging 100 for a 20 for 20s. That's also called the influence of the poil is on the nifal.
But the basement is they had also
What?
a box.
They had there's a box to collect shkolim, yeah. So he says, Al kain nestar lonu lifrot mitevas amoich. You're not allowed to make change out of the collector's box. Kivin shekoyach hapoil yesh b'mamanahu, because there's a power of the poil, of the doer, the power of the wicked person, the ganef is in this money. V'ha'adam hakasher yikochenu li'atzmoi hine yigroim lenafshay pu'ulas zarus. If a regular man takes this money, a good man takes this money, he'll get this influence of the criminal in the money. From the power of the giver of the money, whoever had the money before. He says very bitterly, the Agar Dekala says, I've seen with my own eyes, Kama Anshe Shem, many great people, great tzaddikim Yirei Shamayim, Asher Yeresi Logeshes Aleim, people that I myself feel humbled by. I'm afraid to even go to them, Migoylo Kedushasim, because they're so holy. But in the end, what happened to them? Asher Pitam Ayetzer V'Ishtadlu B'Parnasasam, L'Kabel Maman Mikol Adam. Then they went to get money. I guess these are rebbes or tzaddikim, so they needed money. They didn't do work to get money. They went and they collected or took from other people money, from undesirable people. V'nisharu acher kach kelim reikim. They became like empty vessels. They became like not tzaddikim anymore. Why? Ki amaman shesiglu mibnei adam mibnei bli shem. The money that they collected from people who were bli shem, who were not good people, so to speak. Davak bohem. This power stuck onto these tzaddikim, uvenafsham, it stuck onto their souls. V'kipso hashal heves eish. It put out the fire. Asher bir bekirbam, asher bar bekirbam yavas hayoytze. The fire of love for Hashem that was in their hearts. V'herich sham b'inyan zeh tuva. Ayin sham. And he goes on for at length about this subject. Uvazeh. Now we can understand the answer to our question. Yuvan the Vadai Haya Yaakov Avinu Olav Shalom Bitchoinei Chazak B'Hashem Yisbarach. That Yaakov Avinu had very strong bitachon in Hashem Yisbarach. V'yada Kihu Yisbarach Yamsi Loi Parnasasei U'Mizonoisav V'Chol Tzrachov. He knew Hashem was going to take care of him and give him parnasa. V'Loi Haya Mesupuk B'Zeh Afilu Rega Achas. He never even had a doubt about this for 1 second. Ve'ela Dvar Machamudim Nezem V'Tzamid Lo Yahayit Tzarech B'Hem. He didn't need any jewelry. V'Lo Yalehem Haistat Shukasi. And that's not what he was worried about. What was he worried about? Kol Da'agasai Haisa Kihu Yada. The whole worry was that he knew Ki Han Hinehu Hailech LeMedina Shekula Mishaim. He's traveling now out of his parents' house. He's traveling to a country where everyone is Rishaim. He's going to live in the house of Lavan Rasha. He was afraid that maybe his parnasa, his income, is going to come from these Rishayim. That he's going to cause his own soul to have bad qualities because of this money, or the benefits that he's going to get from them. In exchange for his work, like the power of the money that comes from the owners, the bosses that give the money. He was afraid that this money would stop him, would disturb him from being Oived Hashem Yisbarach. That's pshat in this medrash, and we're going to have to see in the next simon. How did Yaakov Avinu resolve this problem? And then also, how does this have to do with Yosef and the Shvatim and the previous medrash?